Ăn chay kiểu gì cho mới lạ, xiên que rau củ nha. Sườn khô chay mình sẽ ngâm nước cho nở ra, nhớ là phải vắt thật là khô trước khi ướp nha. Cắt ngang phần nắm đùi gà, bắt đầu ướp nước tương, dầu hào và một chút bột ngũ vị hương. Vị hương này sẽ rất là thơm. Thêm một chút ớt sa tế để hơi cay cay và tạo màu cho đẹp. Trộn thật đều và giờ để đó. Tới phần cắt rau củ, vàng có ớt chuông và đỏ có cà chua là đẹp rồi đó. Cắt miếng vừa ăn và bắt đầu xiên so le nha. Kết thúc bằng trái cà chua trên mũi xiên. Tiếp tục xiên hết các phần còn lại và cuối cùng là thành phẩm nè. Đẹp mắt chưa? Mình sẽ pha hỗn hợp sốt gồm dầu mè, nước tương và mật ong. Kết lên phần rau củ sẽ không bị khô và màu bóng bẩy. Chiên với nồi chiên không dầu 200 độ 8 phút. Ta-da, xong rồi. Các bạn có thể ăn cơm gạo lứt. Hôm nay thì mình ăn cùng với hạt quinoa. Topping thêm một chút mè cho đẹp. Vừa ngon vừa đẹp, ăn chay ăn mà không mê.
I'm going to share the recipe for these cookies. They are melt in your mouth almond cookies called cherek. These are traditionally made for Eid or for weddings in Algeria, and they're absolutely amazing. You have to try this out. If you've already had them, you already know. If you haven't had them, try this recipe. So I listed all the ingredients on screen. Here I'm going through the filling. It's just almond flour, sugar, cinnamon, some orange blossom water, and vanilla. And you're going to shape them into little logs with narrow ends. And then the dough you're going to flatten as much as you can. And then you're going to place your almond filling and then pinch the ends and then roll it and cut off the excess. And then you want to form it into this shape. And then you're going to bake it for about 15-20 minutes depending on your oven. Next you dip it in this hot water, sugar, and orange blossom water. And then you're going to coat it in powdered sugar. And you have to let it sit in the powdered sugar for a few minutes before you pull it out so that it forms a nice thick coating. And then enjoy.
Growing up, I remember falling asleep to the sound of my parents making these noodles for tomorrow's breakfast. Start with 200 grams of all-purpose flour and 100 grams of water. Once combined, knead it for 5 minutes.
Yeah, beat its ass.
Cover and let it rest for 30 minutes. We're gonna knead it twice and rest it twice, which will give us chewier noodles. After 30 minutes are up, take your dough and knead it for another 5 minutes, and let rest for another 5 minutes. Know you did the dough right if you can stretch it out and you can see light through it, like this. And roll it out to a square about ½ an inch thick, and cut into 3 separate pieces. Cover with oil and then let it chill in the fridge for at least an hour in an airtight container. When you're ready to eat, roll out a piece until it doubles in width. Then using the back of a knife, make an indentation right in the middle, but not cutting all the way through. Then the fun part. Gently hold both ends and then slowly pull apart while hitting it against the surface. Then grab the center and tear right down the middle. And then you can boil them for 2 minutes and put them in whatever you like. Bet you want to know how I made.
Make creamy lemon butter chicken and spinach with me. And dinner is served.
Want to make mushroom crispy rice? We can make it happen. This is actually an evolution of a dish I like to make called Dan's dish. The story goes that back in college, a friend of mine comes over to my place hungry. So of course, I offer him some of what I was eating at the time, a bowl of rice with avocado on top. Yeah, he was not having it. In his mind, there was no way a bowl of avocado rice would satisfy him. But it was all I had, so I made him eat it. After one bite, his life was changed forever. He just couldn't believe that a bowl of rice drizzled with chili oil and topped with avocado and a squeeze of lime could be that satisfying. He ended up requesting it every time he came over, so I figured I'd name it after him, so he'd always remember to never question my kitchen authority. Oh my God.
todos. Mi madre de pequeña me decía, para crecer tienes que tomar un montón de leche. Mi abuela, un cuarto de lo mismo. Entre las dos me inflaron a leche. Yo he hecho hoy esta con crema de cacahuetes, hemp seed y agua. Espero os guste y un beso a todos.
I don't know if it's just my mom or brown moms in general, but she cannot waste anything. Like, she'll eat a banana and then rub the entire peel on her face, or she'll find leftover beer and use it as a shampoo. And during the summer when we're eating a lot of watermelon, she'll save all her rinds and make tarboos ki sabji. And I cannot explain how good this is, and it's so easy because all you do is boil your rinds for 20 minutes and then in the same pan toast cumin seeds, asafoetida, turmeric, coriander, and red chili powder. Then add your rinds back in and finish with dried mango powder and salt. And that's it, edible watermelon rinds.
Hey Goofy Goobers, today's topic is teenage girls, and I'll start by giving a huge shout out to my friend Sai. This video is heavily based on a lengthy conversation we had a couple days back. Anyways, teenage girls. The idea of a teenager itself didn't even exist until the 1940s in the US, and it's one which very much developed alongside post-war culture in the United States. The teenage girl in particular holds a strange, frightening place in global capitalist culture. She's somehow the most rarefied, sexualized, and desired object of all. She is a taboo and a myth and a fetish. From Britney Spears to the Japanese schoolgirl stereotype to the film American Beauty, the teenage girl is consumed and perversely desired. Simultaneously, she is one of the most denigrated groups across demographics. The teenage girl is often typecast as vapid, airy, brainless. The teenage girl is blamed for other people's violence towards her. Clothing trends, ways of speaking, and any musicians that teenage girls like are dismissed immediately. But teenage girls were the first to catch on to the Beatles, and if we pay attention to pop culture now, we see that teenage girls are the best trend predictors around, and they always have been. All of that, while being looked down upon, denied her own taste and autonomy, the teenage girl is the standard of beauty against which all women are held. Why is a beautiful woman young? Why is youth equated with beauty? I mean, I'm not the first to ask this question, but why is the ideal woman a hairless child? Is it because forcing women to strive for youth makes it easier for you to sell them things? Take cellulite, for instance. 90% of adult women have it. It has no negative effects whatsoever, and yet it is treated as a condition to be fixed, which is literally made up. Like someone just invented that one day because they could sell you things and shame you for aging, when aging is the most natural thing in the world. And I'm not saying women are the only people who are shamed for aging, but isn't it odd how vehemently and pointedly the appearance of younger girls and women is weaponized against older women, both to control them and to sell them things? There's also this aspect of teenage girlhood that ranges anywhere from hurtful to downright traumatic, and that's the shift in the way you're approached by the world around you and the way in which you're allowed to approach the world around you. There's far less allowance for misbehavior for teenage girls than boys. You're suddenly introduced fully into the world of male aggression. Dress codes only exist to shame you. There's some reason it's acceptable for your parents to behave possessively over your sexuality. There's a show called Teen Mom but Not Teen Dad. Teen girls are thrust right into the role of caregiver before they can even care for themselves. Even as children, girls are taught to close their legs, and then suddenly you go from a kind of gendered thing to someone expected to act like a woman. You suddenly become jailbait, and you're sexualized before you even know what that means. And then rather than blaming creeps, teenage girls get blamed for how other people treat them. And God forbid you're the eldest daughter. To go through puberty in general is a process that changes how the world around you treats you, and this phenomenon plays out differently across class, race, sexuality, ability, gender identity, and all the intersections thereof. So while I'm speaking generally, there are a million more words to be said about this, and I don't speak for all women, so I definitely don't speak on behalf of all teen boys or non-binary teens, because I've never been one, so everyone's welcome to share their feelings on this topic. Also, when people say your teen years are your best years, that's just a myth to normalize adult misery.
My local grocery stores always have French ice cream, Italian ice cream, Japanese ice cream, but never Indian ice cream. I can never find kulfi near me, so we're just gonna make it at home. Kesar pista, which is saffron pistachio, is the best flavor, and we're actually gonna make it dairy-free by creating our own pistachio oat milk. I use this almond cow machine because I don't think pistachio milk exists anywhere, and I had creamy and nutty milk in 60 seconds. You'll also have this leftover pulp, and we all love a minimal effort, zero waste recipe, so just add some honey and turmeric and have a low budget spa day with your roommate. For the kulfi, we're gonna boil and reduce our milk, then add saffron, cardamom, oat flour, sugar, and whisk it in really well. Then just cool it down, add pistachios for texture, and pour it into your molds to freeze. And to be honest, I was skeptical. It took me 3 tries, but it came out so good. And also gives you no excuse for not taking your lactose intolerance seriously.
Let me show you how I make drunk salsa. First, remove the seeds from the chiles. With a tablespoon of oil, fry the chiles about a minute on each side. We are going to fry 6 tomatillos, quarter of an onion, 1 garlic clove until they look like this. Separately, add the chiles, 1 cup of beer, orange juice, 2 ounces of tequila to flambe, reduce by half and blend. I'm using a molcajete to crush my ingredients. Pulsing on a food processor or a blender will do just fine. Add the chiles mixture, 1 tablespoon of salt, and mix well. Top with cotija cheese, mix and enjoy. I will be making chilaquiles later using this salsa. Thanks for watching.
I've been cultivating pink oyster mushrooms, and these are equally as beautiful as they are nutritious. Now, they're definitely really great, freshly picked and sauteed in butter, but I had a big flush, so I wanted to recreate one of my favorite Chinese dishes, beef chow fun, but make it vegan. These mushrooms will replace the beef that's normally in the dish. I created a batter of rice flour and potato starch, and steamed it to create rice noodles. These noodles are great because they are soft and chewy and incredibly translucent. Like, you can see my knife through the noodles here. That is just so cool. Now get a hot pan ready because this is going to be quick. Sesame oil, mushrooms, garlic, scallions, bean sprouts, noodles, light soy sauce, dark soy sauce, and black pepper. Like and follow for that reveal that you do not want to miss.
After making Persian rice for the first time, I fell in love, so I attempted to make a tachin. I'm sure I butchered that pronunciation. I am so sorry. I rinsed my rice, salted the water, then soaked it for about 2 hours, and I didn't have any chicken, so I used sausage. So I guess this is my version of a tachin. I don't know. I added some turmeric and the saffron water, and here I'm making my yogurt mixture with some egg yolk, salt, oil, and some of the saffron mixture. Then I'm gonna parboil my rice in salted water for about 5 minutes, drain it and rinse it, and then add the yogurt mixture to the rice. Now I'm adding half of the yogurt mixture to a baking pan that I just put some oil and butter on the bottom. Then I'm adding my cool sausage mixture, then the rest of my rice, smoothing it really well, covering it with foil, and then I baked it at 400 for quite a long time. It took about an hour and a half to get that nice golden brown color. But just listen to this. Oh.
Hey, tell for my family. So I'm going to show you guys today how we make one of my favorite salmon dish called the palusami. Please comment down below palusami just so I know you learned a little salmon. So as you can see, all you need is the taro leaf, the coconut milk, salt, and onions right here. So as you see, I cut up the onions. I'm putting that in the coconut milk. Now you can add some salt just like that and mix it up. This is what we call the pepe. Now this is the technique right here. You want to put the big leaves on the outside, small leaves on the inside. So I hope you guys saw that little twist right there. You got to make sure you do that twist so that you make a nice cup like that. Then you add the pepe and close it up. You want to make sure it does not leak, all right? It has to be not a leaker. You'll get it later. So add the foil paper, wrap it up, give it a nice twist. Alright, there you guys have it, the palusami. Now all you gotta do is set your oven 360, leave it in there for about 2 hours, and don't forget to follow for part 2. Choo!